back and forth in the second half like a regular SEC rival game. I think that game was way better than the Ohio State and TCU game. And TCU made some plays at times. They fell apart in that third quarter, and the game kind of got boring from there, if you ask me. So let's jump to the pros. My donkey of the weekend, I got two nominees. I think I'm going to save one for later, but Vontae Davis retires at halftime. I never seen nothing like that in my life. Retire halftime. Let's talk about Vontae Davis. He's a two-time Pro Bowler. He played with three teams, Miami, Indy, and Buffalo. He just didn't come back out in the second half. Now, Buffalo did lose this past weekend to the Chargers, 31-20. But it's just like he didn't want to be a part of it. He just didn't want to do it no more. Like he said, screw it, 10 years in the league, and he retired at halftime. I don't think, is that even possible to retire at the half? I never heard nothing like that. Will he get fined? Will he get his benefits? Like, you just can't leave your team at halftime. But obviously, I guess you can. Vontae Davis retired at halftime. So I really don't have no answer for that one. When I read the article about it, I didn't think that was real, but it's damn real for sure. Definitely real for sure. I don't have no comment on that one, guys, and I honestly don't. But on that note, let's talk about yesterday. I might as well play it for the first time this year, and at the same time, Cleveland. I was about to let that second line play, but now I got to play that Pray For Me, Cleveland. Cleveland still finds themselves at 0-17-1, having won a game since December 24th, 2016. Now, y'all know last year, if y'all followed me last year, this was my theme song for the Cleveland Browns. I was scared to play this song last week because they was coming into the Superdome after the Saints got rocked by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I was nervous because if I had to come on this show today and say that Cleveland get their first win in New Orleans, I was going to lose it. But somehow, some way, the Saints found a way to win. Cleveland still find themselves having won a game since December 24th of 2016 against a team that's no longer in that city, in San Diego, the San Diego Chargers. The last winning quarterback for the Cleveland Browns was Robert Griffin III, who's the backup for the Baltimore Ravens. So my brothers and sisters, we need to continue to pray. How much more will it take for Cleveland to finally win a game? Because somehow, some way, these boys still can't get over. We need to pray for the Cleveland Browns because they put themselves, and as a Saint fan, I know football at the same time, they put themselves in many positions to win the ball game, and find a way to go 1-0-1. But they didn't. Listen to that Dr. Moses. But on the same time, go back to the second line. Saints finally get their first win of the year. 1-0 for the New Orleans Saints. Go and play Atlanta on the weekend. It wasn't pretty. I think right now there should be an MVP shirt. And, right now the buzz around New Orleans right now got to be Anthony Davis for MVP this year for basketball. From what AD's going to do, I think AD's going to have a hell of a year. We're going to talk about them coming up soon when training camp come up. I think the buzz right now ain't AD for MVP, but if you ask me, I'm not going to try to down the man. Zane Gonzalez got to be the MVP right now for the city of New Orleans right now for what he did yesterday, and that would be my other donkey of the weekend. And not just him, but all kickers. I think there was 19 missed field goals on yesterday, and the week is still not over, so we can see Seattle or Chicago miss field goals today as well. Zane Gonzalez went 2 for 4 yesterday, missing 2 potential kicks to give Cleveland the lead or tie. If Cleveland would have tied at the end, at the 52-yarder, he missed it. Saints win. If he make the field goal, it'll be 19-18 after the bomb that Tyrod Taylor threw to Callaway. It'll have been 19-18 and he missed it. So post Zane Gonzalez Zane Gonzalez finds himself as the donkey of the weekend. And not just him, all kickers, even going to Minnesota and the Packers, who missed potential field goals just like Cleveland, and the Steelers missed field goals in overtime. So we get back-to-back weeks, I think since 1973, that we have two teams in the first 2 weeks of the season find themselves with a tie. Amazing. Really, really amazing. Let's go back to the Saints. Things that I'm concerned with. First thing first, look, it's the NFL, bro. You take what you can get, bro. I give it to them. You get your first win of the year. You got smashed at home week 1. Nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw that it was going to beat the Eagles on yesterday. But you get smashed at home the way you got smashed. The Saints defensively looked so much better yesterday. And that's why I gave the kudo bomb to them yesterday, just now with the San Andreas pass mission. You gave up 18 points on a typical Sunday for the Saints, especially when the offense is clicking. 18 points, normally your offense would give you at least 35 or at least 30. That's a good day for the Saints. It really is. 18 points compared to giving up 48 points last week. That was a good Sunday. They had 3 sacks on the day. They had an interception. They forced a turnover. I want to see more turnovers get forced, but they forced a key turnover at the right time. If you know something, the Saints did not give up a touchdown pass until 4th and 5 when Tyrod just threw a bomb in the end zone, and that was with remaining seconds in the ball game. That's crazy, right? Saints didn't give up a touchdown pass till that late in the ball game. Now they gave up a touchdown run middle of the third quarter. The Saints offense wasn't out there on the field for too long. They went cold. They got the ball and went 3 and out, and then here come Tyrod Taylor, started gassing the defense, running. Boom, bam, boom, bam. There it was. So I respect, because the Saints defense still did hang in there enough. I think they were tired in that second half because the offense wasn't on the field for too long. But if you ask me, they did enough to get by. Zane Gonzalez did help them out a lot. I can't lie about that either. But at the same time, I take it, first win of the year. There's many more to come. I like their chances with Atlanta this weekend if they play a complete game. If they don't put the ball on the ground, small things. I think the Saints left 17 points out there on the field yesterday. If you ask me, I think if they were going down the field, Will Lutz did miss a kick himself. So, I think we would never got in that position if Will Lutz would have made a kick early in the game to make it 6-6. It was 6-3 at the half. Cleveland led the whole entire game until the fourth quarter. That's why I said this poor franchise, what's it going to take to really get these boys over? Because when you look at the numbers, what Tyrod Taylor did, he went 22 for 30, 246 yards, and 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's not enough for me to really start thinking about putting Baker Mayfield in the game yet, because his number's not bad. On the average Sunday, that's a good number game. Antonio Callaway had 3 receptions, 81 yards, and 1 touchdown. On an average Sunday, that's good enough for me. But if you ask me, just because this franchise haven't won a football game since Christmas Eve of 2016, it's starting to play in their head when it's going to happen. We had a chance in 2 weeks. We put ourselves in winning positions to win the game in 2 weeks, and guess what? We still can't find a way to win ball games. It came down to our kicker. We can't trust our kicker, so guess what? We still find ourselves right now 0-1-1. If you ask me, you start looking at the division. And that's why I said this on Friday. Cincinnati starts separating themselves a little bit if they continue to stay hot like they hot right now. Cincinnati can start pulling themselves away. The Steelers got some problems right now. Antonio Brown said, trade me away to a fan. He didn't say this to the organization, but he clapped back at a fan on social media this morning and said, trade me away and see if I can still get the same amount of numbers. I know I can get the same amount of numbers without Ben Roethlisberger. Something is going wrong with the Steelers real early. And sad to say that Pittsburgh got to go on the road to Tampa Bay when Tampa Bay is hot right now. I got to give it to them bastards. They hot. They got to go on the road to play Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay got all the confidence in the world. We just took down NFC team that was supposed to be a contender. We took down the Super Bowl champs, and now we're gonna try to take down another team from the other conference that's a contender for a world title too. If Tampa come out 3-0 without Jameis Winston, first thing first, Jameis Winston, you sitting on his bench for a little while. You're not about to start. The hot hand is Ryan Fitzpatrick. But Tampa go 3-0 against all three contender teams. We got to watch out for Tampa Bay. Now I think it's a must win for Pittsburgh. You can't find yourself at 0-2-1. You can't. You just can't. You got to find yourself 1-1-1. It's a must win for Pittsburgh. Looking at this, going back to the Saints game again, I think New Orleans with Drew Brees went 28 for 35, 243 yards, 2 TDs. Alvin Kamara 13 rushes, 46 yards. You can tell Mark Ingram's presence is missed. They really need Mark back. And I think the man so far who potentially putting himself in the MVP conversation early in the season, if you ask me, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, 12 receptions, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns. In the first 2 weeks of the season, he got 28 receptions on the year. If he continue to do this, what he's doing, Michael Thomas can at least find himself in the MVP conversation, or for sure find himself as an All-Pro this year. Michael Thomas is balling. Is really, really, truly balling right now. All balls out right now. Mike Thomas. So, what to expect this week for the Saints and the Falcons? Really don't know too much. I'm going to probably try to go back and watch some of the Falcon game where they played the Carolina Panthers. I'm kind of shocked that Carolina didn't come out and perform better than what I was giving them credit for. I thought Carolina would have came out and won this game to put themselves at 2-0 and be on top of the division early. But right now, the kings of the division is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 2-0 and potentially trying to find themselves at 3-0. So we got to continue paying attention to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers until somebody knock them off. Hello, somebody. Hello, somebody. Let's go take a quick run around teams I said that was going to dominate, going to bounce back from week 1. So we just talked about the Saints and the Browns. Saints do get a check mark from coming back last week after losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So Saints get a check. Falcons, I said after Falcons lost week 1 to the Philadelphia Eagles on opening night, I want to see if they was going to bounce back. Falcons came back 31-24 to beat the Carolina Panthers. Chargers went on the road to play the Buffalo Bills. They did bounce back 31-20 was their final score. And Lions and 49ers. The Lions did not bounce back at all. The Lions lost 30-27 to the 49ers on yesterday. So, the teams that I'm about to talk about that are making the most surprise impact so far, Pats, Jaguars. Pats went on the road to play a rematch from the AFC Championship game, and the Pats lost to a 4-touchdown performance from Blake Bortles, 377 yards and 1 interception from Blake. There was no Leonard Fournette, and they still found a way to get the job done. So shout out to the Jacksonville Duval Jaguars found themselves at 2-0. Chiefs, Steelers, we talked about them. Pat Mahomes, is he the next Brett Favre? 6 touchdowns on the day. 6 touchdowns for Pat Mahomes. One more time, Rick. 326 yards, and they went down to Pittsburgh and beat them 42-37. I always said for a long time that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been the Kansas City Chiefs kryptonite, and they went down to Pittsburgh and found themselves 2-0. And Bucks and Eagles, I got to give it to the man when the credit is due, a.k.a. Ryan Fitzpatrick looking like Conor McGregor. I got to give it to him, 402 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. They take down the world champs 27-21 on yesterday in Tampa Bay. One thing I want to talk about so far, when you think about the 2-0 teams right now, and the 2-0 teams looking at the AFC for sure right now, when you think about Jaguars, Chiefs, even the Dolphins are in the mix right now with that right now. If you ask me, turn that off. If you ask me, I think right now, we all know for sure what the problems that they got right now with Pittsburgh, taking a quick step back, not even being 1-1. Problems they got going on in Pittsburgh, I think New England still got some issues to work out offensively just a little bit, but we still know they're going to be there. They're going to find a way to be there. I like where Jacksonville's at. I like where Jacksonville is at. I like their chances to repeat. If Blake Bortles continue to put a performance like this, and to me, this performance